What's up, guys? I am breaking in a new engine, Reedy 121 VR. So I'm just going to show you what I'm doing on my first tank. Before the video, I made it idle. I did a couple heat cycles. Here, let me shut this off. So basically, before I started doing this, I did a few heat cycles. So before I even start the engine, I make it go through a couple heat cycles. I heat it up with this and my heat gun all the way up to 220 or 230, and then I leave it cool down, and then I redo that about 4 or 5 times. And to anybody that tries it, they'll notice that the pinch gets tighter. So I guess it's just the material expanding and extracting. So I've been doing that for the last 2 motors, and now what I'm trying different is start it up for a few minutes, get it up to temp like 210, 220, leave it idle for a couple minutes, and then stop it, leave it cool down, and then after that do that again, a little bit longer that time. So the second phase, you know, instead of 3 minutes, you let it idle for, let's say, 5 minutes or 6 minutes. Again, shut it off, and then once you know it's cooled down, you heat it back up, you start it up again, and then you leave it idle for 10 minutes. So that's the 3 things I did. First, it doesn't go through a tank at all, just half a tank perhaps. So you just leave it idle very low. I don't leave it idle high or anything, just nice and low, but like with a really rich low. So the idle may be higher, but with a really rich low, it'll idle good and slow. So that's what I did first, and now I'm doing this, and I'm just going to follow Tessman's first tank. You just go very slow. You'll see I'm not going to do very long. I'm just going to cut it out, and then after on my second tank I'll start it back up. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this motor, the VS or the VR. It's the 121 VR, non-ST. It's not the ST, it's just the regular VR. You know, I've read really good things about it, and I got it really cheap. So I got it in a big bundle of engines, and it turned out most of them were brand new, so I got extremely lucky. This is stock engine. I've not done anything to it other than enlarge the oil hole for the crank pin. So I'm going to enlarge those holes on all my engines due to the fact of what I've noticed on my Dynamite Point 21. Ever since, you know, I enlarged that hole, haven't had any other issues. So I took it apart yesterday after 2 quarts of beating the fuck out of it, and it looks brand new inside. No wear on the crank pin or anything. So I'm going to do that on all my engines, just slightly enlarge the hole a little bit with a diamond Dremel bit. And that should help. So let's start this thing up. It is rich, and I have that thing on there because I'm running it extremely rich, but I want the temp to stay up. So you go very slow like that for a full tank. Since I already did a heat cycle, I don't think I'm gonna shut it off, leave it cool down, and then restart it up. I've already done a couple heat cycles, so I'm just gonna go through the tanks. So leave it idle a little bit, and then proceed. You know, very gradual, nothing very fast, just very gradual. Nothing abrupt, especially with new engines. You don't want to be abrupt with your throttle inputs. And you can see there's plenty of smoke. So if we check the temperature, 211. So that's perfect. Instead of leaning it out and getting it to temp, I just run the heat, you know, the cover on the engine and have it run rich. So that's, you know, keeps it up to temp, but more fuel is going through it, which is better. And on my last motor that I did, or my last two, my OS and my Dynamite, I had to have that thing on. I ran that thing on for 5 tanks, so all the way up to full throttle. I run it rich enough for it to be at good temp, and you know, that's what I've been doing. So I modified Testman's, you know, procedure a little bit to what I think is good, and it's working fine on my engine so far. It kind of is a combo of that method where you run it extremely rich on the box and you go full throttle and it doesn't rev very high. I kind of do that, but with the heater on. It's kind of the same idea. So I'm gonna shut the video off and then come back after another tank and go from there. Alright guys, so this is gonna be the second tank. I've been leaving it idle for a good 3 minutes, so instead of heat cycling, I'm leaving it idle. And you can see I still have this on. I haven't touched any settings. You can see all the smoke. It's running very rich, but it's running good. $225. And the mixture, I'm just running 12%, just like I'm always going to. Just 30% and then 12%. And I'll be happy with that. I don't think there's much benefit of going down. I don't have any tuning issues with 12%. I'm opening it up a little bit more. about half throttle. See that blue smoke? $240. So I'm just gonna run it like that, half throttle bursts, and that's what I'm gonna do pretty much, and do maybe 3/4 after I put in another tank, but I'm not gonna open it up until next time. So basically that's all you do for the first 500 cc's. So basically a bottle, be very easy with it, and you know, leave it idle like that. Next 500 cc's, I'll open it up a little bit more, still run the heater, still run it really rich, but open it full throttle. So that's basically my method. And just after 2 bottles, that's 1,000 cc's, that's a quart. After that, you know, I'll start tuning it, leaning it out a little bit, but I'm not gonna run it full out, you know, like a dumbass, until I get like 3 quarts in. So yeah, that's about it. That's about how I do my tanks, or my break-ins. Haven't had any issues, and the motors always run good. So that's about it, guys. Alright guys, this is the last tank of my 500 cc's. I'm not patient, so I'm opening it up a little bit more. It's running at 240 without the heat on, and I leaned it just a tad bit, so yeah. I'm still not giving it full throttle, but it wants to scream. I can already tell it's going to be a good motor. That's half throttle right there. That was half throttle, so I'm not going any more than 3/4. Yeah, it's definitely got more torque than the Dynamite. Yeah, see, 240. That's really good. So my next bottle is going to be driving like this, with a couple, you know, full throttle bursts, but nothing major. So it's all about being easy on the engine and making sure that it has heat. The engine has to have some heat. That was half throttle. Half throttle. Half throttle. So yeah, that's it for this thing. I'm really excited. It's my first race engine that I break in. The Dynamites are garbage compared to this stuff, so can't wait to actually see what it does. I'm excited.